Live from the AOC studios deep in the heart of downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. It's fun. It's excitement. As you can tell, we are so excited, we're phoning in the show tonight. We're just doing it on the sofa. Seriously, we are on a sofa doing this show. We got some wonderful decor that you can't see hanging up above us. Tonight, we're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about. I guess we'll talk about the Super Bowl because we weren't here last week. We'll talk a little bit about the Royal Rumble because we weren't here for that last week either. We'll make up for the last 2 weeks because we haven't been here. That's what happens when you have Super Bowl Sunday. It just kind of throws you off. We'll talk about all of that in a bag of chips tonight, right here on 124 East Main. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A most cordial welcome to our home away from home. We are in the lounge here at the Acadiana Open Channel. We've found enough cable here in this building to where we can drag the cameras upstairs and into the host's lounge, and we here are doing the show from here this evening. We also found enough cable to get the phone upstairs, so you can call in. The phone number, let's see, is, we're going to have to, there we go, it's right there, 337-366-8951. That is the phone number for those of you who do want to get in on the show this evening. Nicholas Aloysius Mayon was supposed to join us tonight. His brother was also supposed to join us. Richie Mayon was also supposed to join us. He was going to play the Lafayette Love Connection. Both of them, of course, backed out at the last minute. Shame on you, Nick Mayon. Shame on you. So our show is kind of shot right now. So again, if you want to call in, you're more than welcome to. You can go ahead. You can call in. You can talk about whatever in the world you want, because we have not planned out a show. To be quite honest with you, we've not figured out what in the world we're going to do today. Jacob White, I believe, will be joining us in just a few moments. If you have the cell number, you can text. You can even drop by AOC if you wish this evening and come visit and come hang out on the sofa. We've got more than enough room here. Again, maybe in just a little bit we will be joined by the one, the only, Jacob White. A little bit of housekeeping. We're going to be here. Obviously, we're here this week. Next week, what's next Sunday? I got to look at the date on the calendar. Next week is, if my math is right, the 19th. We should be here for that. We won't be here the weekend before Mardi Gras because it'll be too much of a cluster to get to be able to get here from downtown. So we'll more than likely take the 26th off, and then we'll be back on March the 5th. So we have this week, we have next week, we'll be off, and then we'll be back on March the 5th. And then from there, maybe we'll figure out if we're going to continue the show for a 10th year. That's our goal, is to go 10 years, but at this point, I'm not exactly certain if we are going to do that. Another housekeeping note, our friend Mike Batillier from the Ozone on ESPN 1420 is going to be emceeing Coach Ogeron Day over at the LaRose Civic Center. That is this coming Friday. The last day to purchase your tickets is tomorrow. So if you want to go to Coach O Day, tickets are still available. South Lafourche High School is going to honor Coach O, going to retire his jersey, and Coach O's jersey is going to be retired, and the state championship team from 1976, I believe it was, the South Lafourche High School football team from '76, state champions, will be honored during the same banquet. Of course, in addition to Coach Ogeron, also includes former New Orleans Saints head coach Bobby Hebert. Again, that's taking place in LaRose this coming Friday evening. Tickets are available. All that information is on Twitter, so you can go ahead and find that information there. What else do we have with regards to housekeeping notes? UL softball is now underway. Ragin' Cajuns starting somewhat strong with 2 victories on Friday, 2 victories yesterday. They dropped their first game to Southern Miss this afternoon. They're in the process of playing a 3rd game right now. Still waiting to see what happens in the second game. At last check, the Ragin' Cajuns were leading 3-1 in that game. That game was in the 5th inning as I was getting out of the car. So we're waiting to see, waiting for a result for that particular game. 366-8951 is the phone number. Still waiting for Jake to come in. Someone just came in and dropped off a motorcycle helmet. We'll wait and see how that all pans out. Grammy Awards are tonight, so if you're looking for something to watch on TV, there you go. That'll be starting once we get off the air. Matter of fact, we'll be going home and flipping between that and the WWE wrestling that is on tonight. Bill Goldberg, allegedly, depending on which dirt sheets you believe, Bill Goldberg tonight may once again have gold around his waist once WWE is over, or once the WWE pay-per-view tonight, the Elimination Chamber, is finished. This is when you know that wrestling in 2017 is not exactly the strongest that it could be. Considering the fact that tonight, Bill Goldberg, well, no, wait. This is a Smacketh Down pay-per-view, so there will be no Bill Goldberg tonight. Haha, Smacketh Down. Layeth the Smacketh
Is that
down,
classical? Like,
as The Rock would say. For those trying to, as William Shakespeare once wrote, The Rock layeth the Smacketh down. So there's no Bill Goldberg tonight. I'd imagine he's going to be, let's see. I'd imagine they're going to put the belt on Goldberg at Fastlane, which is coming up in a couple weeks from now. As a professional, and yes, there it is. It's signed. Kevin Owens against Goldberg for the WWE Universal Championship. That's the WWE World Championship Part 2, if you will. Why there's going to be a pay-per-view that close to WrestleMania is beyond me. Again, WWE, from its pay-per-view booking scheme to the brand extension split, to putting Goldberg in a position where he will be the world champion heading into WrestleMania, it just shows that wrestling may not be at its strongest point right now. That is, as a wrestling fan, it pains me to say that, because I want to see the WWE succeed. I want to see pro wrestling succeed. But right now, I'm not exactly certain that the WWE is in a strong spot right now. On the pay-per-view tonight, we closed it out. We have John Cena wrestling for the WWE Championship. That is on the card tonight. Let's go back and pull that up one more time. Let's see. Oh, damn it. Can't even spell right tonight. There we go. Now we've got it figured out. Tonight, on the card, let's see, in a dark match, you got Mojo Rawley against Kurt Hawkins. Who cares? John Cena defends his title against AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Baron Corbin, and Bray Wyatt. That's the Elimination Chamber match for the championship. Nikki Bella versus Natalya. I will be watching and paying full attention to that one. Later, Paul.
good show.
Good show. We're sucking right now. We're trying.
No, it's wrestling. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I've been listening.
I appreciate it, Matt. I appreciate you trying to boost my ego.
Rolling right along.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, you kind of need that.
I do.
Will I see you at karaoke at Artistry this week?
Not art. Well, actually, the one at Somewhere Else isn't happening anymore on Tuesdays.
Oh.
So very well may be at art.
Well, we will see you then. I need to make a return appearance.
Okay.
Billy, since digressing here, Billy Joel played at the Smoothie King Center on Friday night.
Yeah.
And someone sent me the video of him doing We Didn't Start the Fire. So I may have to go up Tuesday night and do We Didn't Start the Fire.
Perfect. I'll try to show up.
Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio, Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Student Baker Television, North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe.
I always thought about how difficult those lyrics really are.
They are, because if you...
It rhymes,
Uh-huh.
but it's not a story. It's names in
It's
a
history,
row.
right.
Yeah, and it's really difficult song to sing as far as just by memory.
Right, and that's why Billy Joel's credit, and in the video you can see he's standing up to sing it. He's not at the piano. So he's probably looking down at a teleprompter, which is scrolling through the list so he doesn't trip up. Because even he admitted in an interview that We Didn't Start the Fire is a bitch and a half to sing live.
Yeah.
Because you trip up on one lyric or on one word, it's a train wreck.
Right.
You can't pick it up.
Yep.
Because if you put one thing out of order, it messes up the flow of the song. You trip up on a lyric, you have to catch up. And at that tempo, it's difficult to do. The only two songs that may be more difficult than We Didn't Start the Fire to do live, whether it's karaoke or just as the performer doing it, would be Life is a Rock, But the Radio Rolled Me, and It's the End of the World as We Know It by REM.
Yes, same thing.
Which is a stream of consciousness.
Names and current events.
Right. And depending on who you talk to, some music historians will say Life is a Rock, But the Radio Rolled Me, End of the World as We Know It, and We Didn't Start the Fire are three songs, are three songs that kind of form a trilogy of their own when it comes to historic and current events.
Yep, I agree.
Though, with that said, I don't know if I'd do Life is a Rock with the Radio Rolled Me. Jesus Louise, that is I can handle REM and Billy Joel. I don't know if I can handle Life is a Rock. I don't even remember who did that song, though. Anybody out there, if you remember who did that, give us a call, 366-8951. I don't either. I mean, say again?
Bob Seger.
I don't think that was Bob Seger.
Like a Rock?
No, Life is a Rock, but the Radio Rolled Me. No, Like a Rock was Bob Seger. That was 86. And also, for a long time, part of the, what was that, Chevrolet who used it in their advertisements?
Silverado.
Like a Rock, yeah.
Trucks driving over things in slow motion.
Like rocks.
366-8951 is the phone number for those of you who do want to join us. Bert Grace is watching and checking in this evening. Thank you, Bert. We appreciate it. Going back to the wrestling this evening, we have a tag team championship match with way too many people competing in it. Why you need 5 tag teams in the match is beyond me. It just sounds like a cluster waiting to happen. Alexa Bliss versus Naomi for the women's championship. Okay, that'll be a decent match. Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. We'll be watching that one with full attention as well. Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler, 2-on-1 handicap match. That's one where you can go to the bathroom. Luke Harper, Randy Orton singles match just for entertainment purposes should be worth watching. There's your wrestling roundup for this evening. And there we go. Our president is tweeting tonight. Just opened up Twitter, and apparently he tweeted out today, or just a few minutes ago, just leaving Florida, big crowds of enthusiastic supporters lining the road that the fake news media refuses to mention. Very honest. Look, let's start with the fake news thing. Just because it doesn't fit a certain narrative doesn't mean it's fake. I'm one to always defend professional wrestling and say pro wrestling is not fake. When it comes to the news, as Jake joins us, pro wrestling is fake. The news is not. Maybe Breitbart's fake news, but that's a whole other story. You're the president now. We don't need to show the crowds that are there to support your crowds lining the road. It's not going to happen. The news media now is going to focus on your policies, what you are trying to do, for better or for worse, and how you intend to keep your campaign promises. That is what the media will focus on. Now, have there been some stories that President Trump has been has he gotten some unfair coverage some places? Yes. I think CNN's reporting the other day about being first in an attempt to break the news about about the intelligence community taking more credence in the Russian or in the British dossier. I think that was poorly done. I think CBS's coverage later on it was better. But at the end of the day, President Trump, we don't care about the size of your crowds. We don't care how popular you are, unless it's a Gallup poll or something like that. At the end of the day, we want to know, what are you going to do about your wall that's now going to cost what was it, $200 billion?
21.
Or
is
$21
the
billion
Low estimate.
is a low estimate. About the wall, what are you going to do to replace Obamacare, which it turns out apparently about 40-something% of the United States didn't realize that Obamacare,
Was the ACA.
or excuse me, a quarter of America, I'm sorry, my percentage is too high. A quarter of America didn't know Obamacare and the ACA were the same thing. People want to know, President Trump, what you're going to do now that an appeals court has killed your plan, or I should say shot down your plan, to keep folks from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from coming to the United States. Oh,
None of which, by the way,
have business ties with the president.
well, that's true, but also none of which are places of origin for any of the terror attacks
From
since
9/11, that's
and
correct.
since the 10 on American soil since then, so-called terrorists, meaning when a Muslim does it instead of when a white guy does it.
Yeah. So at this point, President Trump, your tweets are golden, your tweets are entertaining. It may be better, and I'm thinking about this, the National Archives was,
Oh wow, it's gonna have tweets now.
the National Archives has tweets, but President Trump is tweeting from his personal page. So these may not be archived, which in the grand scheme of things, as much I'm a historian as I am, maybe, just maybe, no, let me not say what I'm saying.
No,
Oh, what
and
I'm
they will
thinking.
be. Come on, in this
You know they
era,
will. Yeah.
they'll be around forever.
They probably will be. By the way, UL softball score, bottom of the 6th, it's 3-0, Cajuns leading right now.
Here's my problem,
Mhm.
real quick, since I have your audience.
Remember, you have my audience, that means my ratings are about to fall.
I'm only saying that my criticisms of Trump are regardless.
President Trump, he is a president.
I said Obama too, but you're right. President Trump, usually when I'm typing it, I think I type President Trump. Regardless,
Mhm.
my criticisms of him are very close to the criticisms I have of every administration. Like,
Right.
I feel like when I criticize him, oh, well, you're a liberal. I don't even recognize that term anymore.
And therein lies the rub with modern political thought, or at least,
you can't be suspicious of your guy.
or at least political thought in the mainstream, is that, God forbid you criticize a Republican, then the Facebook political scientists will jump at you. God forbid you criticize a liberal, because the Twitter political scientists will jump on you. Nobody can have a civil political discussion anymore because everyone's too afraid to be criticized. The Republicans, or some folks on the Republican side, like to throw out the phrase snowflakes. At the end of the day, everybody's a snowflake because everybody loves to say that they can take criticism, but they can't.
Did you hear? And the funny thing is, snowflake used to be, it did not connote that. It did not connote someone who was weak. It just meant someone who's unique. But the joke about DeVos, she and those who voted for her are like snowflakes. They're white, rigid, and they're going to close public schools.
Well, here's only in Louisiana does snow close public schools.
True.
Let's get that straight. You go to the north, snow day. You go to the north.
Yeah,
and
put
you
some
say,
chains
you got
on your
you got
tire.
4 or 5 inches of snow.
Oh, man.
That's not a snow day. That's you're exactly right. Put chains on your car
Yeah.
and head on down. It takes 2 feet of snow to close a school. Up north, 366-8951 is the phone number. Tuesday's Valentine's Day, Jacob.
Someone's ringing the door, but I will come back and discuss it.
Someone's ringing the door. I mentioned Valentine's Day and you're running away.
Yeah, Katie, bar the door. No, I truly will be right back. Someone's ringing outside.
Who would be ringing? Because there's nobody on the air after us tonight.
I know. Whoever it is, they're in for a rough surprise.
Yeah, well,
Somebody tweeted I was here.
don't worry. Your identity and your location are both safe with us. So you just hang out there, and we'll make sure that you remain in witness protection. 366-8951 is the phone number. It is 20 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Please, somebody call in to help us. We need all the help we can get tonight. You were exactly right over there, sir. Don't we all? It's a Sunday night. It's a Sunday night before Valentine's Day. And you know, for a lot of folks out there, Tuesday will not be Valentine's Day. It'll be Singles Awareness Day. It'll be sad. For some of you, it'll be Valentine's Day. It'll be a day of love. Some others, Valentine's Day will be a day that your significant other breaks up with you and leaves you in a heap on the ground. I know some of you out there have had terrible Valentine's Days at some point during your history. We want to hear your terrible Valentine's Day stories. We want to be humored by your misfortune, which is typically how we do things here on the show. So if you've got a weird or crazy Valentine's Day story, and you're watching, if you're still out there watching this train wreck of a show, give us a call at 366-8951 and tell us your worst Valentine's Day story. We'll even extend that out to me, your worst dating story or something weird that happened to you. If you've got something where that would make us say, holy crap, we want to hear it. 366-8951. And remember, it's extension 2 when you dial in. If you dial extension 1, it's going to go to the director's booth. There ain't nobody in the director's booth right now. We don't think. I see a bag in there, but I think we even scared our director away. That's how bad off we are. I hear the door open outside. Who was that?
Oh, the kids.
Oh. I thought they had a key. And he runs off again. 366-8951 is the phone number. As Jacob mentioned, as we were talking a few minutes ago, Betsy DeVos was named the education secretary. I know a lot of folks are saying it's the end of public education as we know it. I don't think so. It doesn't take, or it'll take more than one education secretary to ruin public education. And quite frankly, here in Louisiana, we've already done enough here to ruin public education as it is. There ain't much that Betsy DeVos can do here that Louisiana hasn't done already. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. In the news today, a Texas woman is suing Popeyes over the claim that she discovered flesh-eating screwworms in her red beans and rice.
What?
I don't know how you can recognize a flesh-eating screwworm in your red beans and rice.
I'll tell you how you do it.
How?
Just look at the department of the whatever you're upset with that day.
San Antonio, this is in San Antonio. A woman is suing Popeyes over the claim that she discovered the flesh-eating worms in her red beans and rice, according to a lawsuit filed in Bexar County District Court. The plaintiff, Karen Good, says the screwworms entered her digestive system and laid eggs that embedded in her small intestine. Ooh. I wonder if she preserved any of the evidence. According to the New Orleans media, according to WWL, is it WWL? No, Times Speaking Union. According to the TP, the lawsuit also states that when the eggs hatched, the screwworms infested her body and began to eat her insides.
Okay.
As a result...
Is that a medical term, insides?
Yes, a wonderful medical term there. As a result, the lady claims that she lost her business, her house, and her vehicles.
Wow.
She's seeking $1 million.
That's not enough.
You know what I think?
If she can prove that, that's crazy.
If she can prove it, she should be asking for more.
Way
I think it's a
more.
frivolous lawsuit. That's like Dr. Evil saying, I will point a laser beam at the earth unless you give me $1 million.
So actually, sir, $1 million is nothing these days.
Exactly.
I want $100 billion.
Exactly.
That sounds like, yeah, very lowball if she, like, her whole livelihood was destroyed and she had flesh-eating worms at a place that needs to keep
That's
the
the thing.
public image up.
If it were flesh-eating worms, she would have no skin on her. She never
That's what I'm
mentioned
thinking.
anything about the skin. This, from a scientific standpoint, this makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, and just eating the insides. Whose line was that? Who said that? The doctor?
The
It's
attorney.
currently eating her inside.
That was the attorney. So there
I
you
don't
go.
know.
Enjoy your dinner for those of you who
sounds
are
like-
watching this while you.
Sounds like she left out the fried chicken liver 2 days too long.
But probably so. I had an experience with Popeyes recently where the order got messed up and they took care of it. So I will put Popeyes over. They took care of it and did a good job with it. So thank you.
They
folks.
fried your flesh-eating
They killed them off. We were, as you were walking out, we were talking about
Valentine's, Galentine's Day last night it was.
What was it?
That's when the gals go out.
Well, I totally missed it, but I'm accounted for now, so not that it matters.
What are you doing?
I ask you Tuesday. I don't know, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. That's the beauty of a long distance relationship. You actually have time, and thank God we're not on the internet right now, because Stephanie would be ready to kick my ass right now if we were.
I'm gonna go and I left the Facebook running.
It's on yours though. not
Yeah,
mine.
that's true.
So no, I'm not too terribly worried.
And
But,
yeah, we are like an hour and a half into this thing. I
You
don't
left
know
it
how many
open?
people are watching. What's up?
You left your Facebook open?
mhm.
I'll be back.
No, only you can't play on it. It's only in an app.
Oh.
What are you gonna do? Go message some people?
No.
Hart Fortenberry's.
I was gonna really mess up your Valentine's Day.
But I have an idea what I'm doing. What are you doing for Camille?
Oh no, I'm seeing Michelle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That was it. Was no, you're just in the wrong year. It's not.
Is that what happened last
Me and
Sunday?
Camille dated long ago. I honestly, dude, I wish maybe I'm doing this because I really do have a great plan and I don't want to reveal it. But no, I don't know. Like, that's the night of Janky, but that's a
That's
little
right.
ridiculous for it's whatever she wants to do. I'm hoping we go catch a flick or something.
My question is, if I were to put something in the mail tomorrow, how long would it take to get to Lake Chuck?
Tomorrow, it would be there the next day.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah, definitely.
So, good. I
And
can
you know,
cover my bases
the
tonight.
fail-safe is, if you really need to, you call, in fact, what's the name of the place I used to go to? I have some friends that run a flower shop. You call a flower shop in town tomorrow, spend $40 or whatever, and get them to drop off a little bouquet.
Mhm. I might do that. But if I know it can get in the mail tomorrow and get there Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'll
that would
do
be easier.
that. But
You gonna send cash? Like a grandpa?
no, better idea. I'll tell you later. Cash. I work in TV. You think I got cash?
I know, right?
But we were asking as you walked off, what is the screwiest Valentine's / Singles Awareness Day story that you might have?
Oh, that I have?
Well, just in general, if anybody's out there watching, what
Ooh,
story
they should call
have.
in.
They should, but nobody's calling. So, what's the screwiest story that you got?
I mean, I'm trying to even think, man. I mean, there were years there where I was just fundamentally incapable of.
I won't.
You gonna?
Yeah, he's taking care of our soft drinks.
No, he's not.
No,
I'm
he's
gonna
put
put
it in the
hospitality.
refrigerator.
I'm gonna put them in the freezer.
We're not gonna forget him.
You son of a gun. He's gonna run off with him. I know this guy.
No, wait. If he does,
We'll catch him.
if he does, I don't mind.
Oh, because they're hot.
Not that. I've had too much this weekend as it is.
Okay.
Soft drinks add calories.
I know. That's why I drink hard drinks.
But no, he's going to put our soft drink that cannot be named in the refrigerator
Because
upstairs.
they haven't given you some underwriting yet.
Correct. We're still looking for underwriters. Hey, I'm a former board member here at AOC. I got to play by the rules, right?
Yes, you do. And I'm a current employee, currently off the clock, but I also have to play by the rules. A different set of rules, I suppose, since I'm not the producer of this.
You've been working for AOC. You started
God
in the old building.
almighty. A long time, dude.
When did you start working for AOC?
2009.
Yeah, believe me, we know you play by the rules based on some of the evidence you once left in the old building. Welcome to 124 East Main. Good evening.
Great.
Hello, welcome to the show. I recognize the phone number, but
Oh, wait. Oh, I thought it was me for a second.
No, it's not you. I recognize the phone number, but I hear no voice. You there? No, it shouldn't be muted.
No, it looks like it's working.
Going once. Going twice.
If it's not working, try and call back. I'm going to call
Yeah,
and see if it
try
works.
to call back. I recognize that number.
Yeah.
I believe
Maybe
that was
something's up
Lynn.
with the phone.
Right. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad connection. So we'll see if our caller calls back, and I hope he or she does. But you gonna test it?
I'm going to test it.
Okay. And if we get feedback, we know it works.
Yes. You know what? Yeah, we'll turn the speaker on.
Yep.
Check.
Yep, you're working.
Yeah, maybe you know what happens to me? I mute this phone is so old that it won't.
Your phone is so old that you can't even see the screen anymore.
I can see it. It's a vision test. but I will accidentally like touch the button or touch a mute.
Yeah.
I'm always muting myself when I'm listening to someone, and then I go to talk and they don't hear me.
Yeah,
So they're happy for that, I suppose.
So the person with the 322 phone number who dialed, call back, and unless, I don't know, maybe they're trying to get into Freedom Form, which is
True
taped,
that.
which
It's not here, by the way. There's nothing else live. So
yeah, we're the only live show tonight. Which, by the way, it's funny that we don't see the Upside Down flag anymore.
Oh no, we do.
It's still there.
That's the funny thing.
You saw the.
I got into it with one of them the other night.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I mean I love talking to these guys because they hold a lot of my critical views of the U.S. But they've been kind of rah-rah on Trump, and so we're good now. We kind of like had a
it's AOC.
healthy little. Yeah, exactly.
This
yeah.
is the one place where you can actually have a conversation.
Well, and that's
like
what
that.
I love about that, Ian. I learned so much in the, speaking of being here since 2009.
There we go. Now the phone's ringing
Learned
again.
so much about discussion.
Can you hear us this time?
Yeah, it picked up this time.
There you go. What's happening, Lynn?
Just rang and rang and rang. I'm the only guy watching the whole show.
Apparently so. I don't know, man.
It's my fault. I was too radical earlier in the program.
No, it's his mustache. That mustache is scaring people away.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me ask you something. So you think Betsy DeVos is going to destroy the public school system?
No, that's been one of the complaints that people have been saying. I don't think she's qualified for the job, but I don't think she's going to destroy public education. And I was making the joke that, quite frankly, here in Louisiana, we've done everything we can to destroy public education here unwittingly, and we haven't done it yet. So it's not so. If we can't do it here in Louisiana just with our own stupidity and with our lack of budgeting for it, I guarantee you that Betsy DeVos is not going to kill public education. Again, not the best person or not exactly who I would have had running the education department, but at the end of the day, the only way the education department is going to die is if Congress passes a bill, and which is later signed by the president, that eliminates the education department. That's the only way you're going to kill that department.
Agreed.
Is if you abolish it.
Because I know Common Core is going to be bye-bye. I know that.
But Common Core already is kind of on the outs because it's not mandatory anymore. Common Core was replaced by, or was it No Child? I'm thinking No Child Left Behind was replaced by something else.
To the top,
And at the end of the day, schools here and states are moving away from Common Core and moving away from all of that BS. The thing is now you are teaching for tests. The fact of the matter is the majority of your curriculum is now designed to get students to pass tests, despite the fact that Common Core may or may not be the basis for these tests.
Quick stat: 30 to 33 testing days per year in Lafayette Parish for these kids.
And that's far too many. That's one grading period. That's a 6 weeks period.
Yes.
That's far too much. The fact of the matter is, I'm a child of the 90s. I'm proud to say that. I grew up in the 90s. We took our first test in 1994 with the California Achievement Test.
Fourth grade?
That was first grade. You know how long that test took?
Well, like an hour.
A week. It was a week. And we did it for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
The next year we did California Achievement again. Then it became the Iowa test and LEAP, and then so on and so forth. And every year we did 1 week for about 3 to 4 hours a day. That was the only testing we got. By the time I got to high school and No Child Left Behind came in and you saw more of an emphasis put on standardized tests, we went from testing 1 week a year to 2 weeks a year. By the time I graduated, you were looking at some students taking tests 3 weeks out of the year. Now, as Jacob said, you're looking at a full grading period, 30 days. That's much too much.
Well, and that, of course, speaks to the amount of time a teacher must prep the kids. I mean, they're supposed to do well on these tests. And so you got to look at least an equal number of days used correctly.
Right, you're looking at test prep.
Where do your classes go?
Right, and as a result, teachers don't have much say, or teachers really don't have much time in their lesson plans to be creative, to get kids to think creatively, to think critically, to enjoy the education process. It becomes cookie cutter, and for the average student, it's boring. It's dull. It's mundane.
That is the primary.
And that's why kids don't want to do it. That's why they hate it.
That's the primary negative.
If it was up to me, if it was up to me, I would eliminate the whole Department of Education, return all education to the state. It's up to me.
Well, here's the thing though with that, and while there is some merit to getting rid of the Department of Education and killing the budget for it, because it takes up about $20 billion of the budget,
and we spent about $20 billion.
At the end of the day,
we spent 7 times as much as the average on our students, more than obviously any country on earth, per student for we're the 25th.
At the end of the day, $20 billion is just a drop in the bucket, but it's still significant. But the United States government has been
it's a lot of spent state.
The United States government has been in the education business since the 1950s. Because prior to the Department of Education being created under Jimmy Carter, education was handled by what is now the Department of Health and Human Services. It was the Department of Health, Education, and something else. I forget
Welfare.
what it was. And welfare. There you go. Thank you.
Good man.
So it's a matter of at that point. Now you have states starting to wonder where are we going to get our federal dollars that we've been using to conduct some of these programs. I agree with you. The federal government shouldn't be as involved as it is in education. I think it should set benchmarks. It should reward states that have high. It should reward states where students are being productive, that have high grade point averages. But I agree with you. I think from a state-to-state basis, the curriculum needs to be set, and I think really curriculum should be set on a more local level.
Amen.
All education, like all politics,
arts.
is local. It starts with the arts. It starts with the sciences, with the maths, and the best way to gauge how your students are learning are at the local level, at the district level, not at the state, not at the federal level. While I think the State Board of Education has its merits, while the federal Department of Education has its merits, I think we see too much meddling from them in how local school systems work. And therein lies the rub. When you try to standardize education across the United States, you're failing the students of the United States. Because of that, we're now seeing, quite frankly, a dumber generation pop up. It's not a slight at the kids of today or the teachers of today. It's the fact of the matter is you've got too many people who don't know the damnedest thing about education trying to run education.
And you're speaking to the main idea, which is too many chiefs.
Right.
We have so much top-heavy administrative realities.
Let me say one more comment about her, then I'm going to comment on something else.
Okay.
I'm not saying she's the most qualified person for the job,
Uh-huh.
but if anybody thinks all the Democrats in Congress were against her strictly because they think she's not qualified, they don't have a clue what's going on. I can tell you why they're against her so much.
Because they weren't getting her money?
Because she is against the teachers' union and she's going to shake it up.
But at the same time,
ding, 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 ding.
Depending on how you look at it.
There's so much opposition to her. It's nothing to do with they think she's not qualified.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding?
And you know where I'm coming from.
She's fundamentally unqualified.
But depending on...
That's their main object against her.
But here's the thing with DuVos. She's never been in public education as a student, as a parent. She doesn't know how it works. And that's the thing with other folks who've been in the education system. They, at the very least, have worked in some sector of public education. She's not done it. She's also, she proudly says she homeschooled her kids. She's also put money in the bank accounts of the vast majority of the senators that voted to confirm her.
And the joke,
even Lisa Murkowski, who voted against her, received $43,000 in donations from her during the campaign.
The joke is that the only position that she was qualified for in this department was the head of it. She could not have applied for any of these other positions. She would immediately be rejected because of her lack of experience.
So it's political cronyism at work, which, hey, Obama did it, Bush did it,
and that's
everybody does it. There's the problem with our government. It's cronyism at its finest.
And then that's the problem for me with the media, is that we don't allow voices who are critical, regardless of party, to shine through.
I disagree with that. The problem with the media, especially CNN, and CNN is the worst culprit of this. You know Fox News and MSNBC are going to be slanted regardless, so you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. But the problem with CNN is they have been looking to be neutral, as a neutral / fair with the voices that they have instead of trying to seek out the truth with it. If you watch CNN during the day, which I've made the mistake of doing a lot lately, if you watch CNN during the day, It's mostly discussion. There's very little news coverage. It's mostly discussion. And then you get someone, say, for example, Rick Santorum on the right, and insert, let's say, Maria Cardona, just for argument's sake, from the left, or insert two or three more people from each side in the debate. And it gets
Bill Maher and
unwieldy.
Bill Crystal.
Right. I didn't actually pay to see that one. The problem with CNN and a lot of folks who do 24-hour news is that they're seeking to be neutral and seeking to be quote unquote fair as opposed to being truthful. And that's what's hurting it. And during the Obama administration, we could have used a lot more of that instead of the folks in the media fawning over him. I'm not gonna dispute that. Obama got a free pass on a lot of stuff that Trump isn't, strictly because of his party and his political leanings. It's nice to see the media finding its intestinal fortitude again, but maybe it's too much, too little, too late here.
Yes, that's the way I feel. I mean, the media. Go ahead, Lynn. Sorry.
Go ahead, Len. I'm sorry.
Just a couple of comments on Trump's immigration order. Number one, it was written too hastily and it was written too broadly.
Yep.
You cannot. Where Trump messed up was when you cannot include people that have green cards in that kind of immigration executive order. But now he's right early tomorrow or Tuesday, he's going to have another one that's written that is going to be just for people that were never in this country yet. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with that, but again, I think,
and he has the total authority to do that.
Right.
Period.
I
disagree with that.
He depending on the law you're citing, he does, but I still think the law will be challenged. And depending on where it's challenged, I still think we're going to see a court battle with it.
Let me ask you
They can challenge it all they want.
Would you prefer if Obama do you want Obama to have as much power as Trump has?
You know which statute?
Should we let a president have
I don't
that
have the
much
number
power?
right on hand, but by proclamation, you know which one I'm talking about, HB, whatever it is, I don't have the number right offhand, but at the same moment Obama suspended immigration.
But that was for 6 months and only for Iraqis and only those who, it was only to increase the vetting process for 6 months during that 2011.
Right, and the thing with Donald Trump, and again, the part that raises a red flag for me is that he's exempting the countries in which he has business dealings, and the countries that he's targeting are countries that have not had anyone commit terrorist attacks on the United States, were not involved in September 11 or any other attacks thereafter.
Unlike Saudi Arabia and Pakistan.
And therein lies the rub. If you're going to target immigrants, or are you going to target folks who are flying into the U.S. who don't have green cards, who don't have visas? Go after the countries where you know people came from and took part in the attacks. Frankly, targeting Libya, targeting Iraq, targeting Iran, it may not be popular globally, but then again, not much the U.S. does is popular globally. But at the very least,
he's using the same 7 countries that Obama and Congress said were the most dangerous.
But that's true. But at the same time, there's
and some of those. Some of those countries have the vetting process is nothing. You know what I mean?
No, that's not true.
But we're going to leave the discussion on this. My thing is, if you're going to do it, make it a ban on not only those countries but also the ones that Trump has business dealings in. And again, this is why the tax papers are so important, so we can see where the money trail is. And one congressman is, from what I read yesterday, one congressman has found a way to possibly make those tax records known by invoking a law that was used during the Nixon or during the Watergate hearings, where Congress would subpoena where a congressional committee, I forget which one, could subpoena the filings, pass them on to the full House, at which point they would become public documents.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but there is a way for Congress to trigger it. We'll have to wait and see if that actually happens.
Might have to wait for 2018.
Speaking of the IRS, I'm waiting on them to give me a call back on something, on a letter they sent me the other day.
I'm
Anybody
waiting
know
on
anything
the
about
LDR to get back to me.
Didn't they have a knife attack not long ago at Ohio State University, right?
A knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy crashed his car and then started stabbing people. I think I remember that correctly.
Yeah, that was a guy from Somalia, and there's been over 60 people that's been arrested or questioned about, possibly terrorist threats.
I just
so
think
when I hear Democrats and some of the people on MSNBC and CNN say nobody from them several countries have tried anything since 9/11, that's fake.
they're talking about with ordnance, though. They're talking about with firearms or explosives.
I understand.
And my thing is, we've got enough domestic grown terrorists here that we need to be looking inside our borders as well. We're so worried about what's going on externally that we allow crap to happen here in the United States.
I think you're right in the first part.
Two more things. One more comment about the Ninth Circuit and one more comment about baseball umpiring.
All right.
As you know, that Ninth Circuit Court is overturned 80% of the time.
Correct. Yes.
I didn't sign up. I didn't sign up this year yet. I didn't sign up yet, man. I don't know.
I don't know. At this point, I think it's too late because the test deadline is day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I could go call some lower level stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, go do the kiddie leagues. That's where the money is. That's where the parents are too. I told every year I tell Travis I'm gonna come sign up next year. Yeah, I remember back in 2006. I went called a game in Lake Charles, Barb and Lafayette High. It was me and Box. Yeah.
And Ron Robichaud Sr. was, before the game, was teasing me. He said, last night you went slide calling reg ball. Tonight it's Barb. He said, you moved up. He said, you got promoted in 24 hours. I said, nah, they couldn't find anybody else. Look, good to talk to you. Catch y'all later.
Pleasure's all mine, Len. Hey, if I don't see you in person sooner, we'll see you at Evangeline Downs sometime during the Kentucky Derby or sometime during the Triple Crown. That'll be coming up in a few months. But Len, that's, again, we're talking about AOC and having a good discussion.
Yes.
This is proof that it can happen here.
Well, and proof that we can disagree and it doesn't devolve. I did want to speak to the idea that that we should be less concerned with threats abroad and more concerned with threats at home. Good point. I think overall, if we're going to focus on mitigation and the prevention of these sorts of sad, tragic events that in which human life is lost, that's important. But for me, okay, first it goes to, well, if we want to stop deaths, we really want to prevent deaths, we would change car culture, because that's where we lose our people, man.
Yeah.
That's where we're losing
we would change
tens of thousands of people a year. But and just real quick, and then so more broadly, for me, focusing abroad is the kind of thing where the dog that has the fleas, it ends up tearing itself apart with these little things that could be solved, scientifically. We find a way to bathe this dog, and we could fix ourselves from getting these flea bites. But instead, we're scratching and we're getting infections, and it's becoming this thing that is worse than the initial problem. Yeah. Because of the way that we're trying to solve it.
Got another phone call coming in. Caller caller disconnected. Oh.
Well, they must have thought that I was right, and so they didn't need to call me.
Or they were looking for freedom for him. I don't know. 366-8951. We've got about 8 minutes left in the show, so caller, if you do want to get in, you can feel free to call back. There we go. Hey there. Welcome to the show.
I dropped my call. As far as taxes go, John Bell Edwards, Governor Bobby Jindal had the entire state and all the substations of water supplies that agreed to fluoridate with fluoride.
No, are you calling in for this show or for Freedom Forum?
No, I was making a point about the tax money that's being spent on fluoridating our water.
I was just making sure because I know we hadn't hit that topic yet, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, the point I made to Governor Edwards, they want to save $500 million. They can stop fluoridating the state of Louisiana. They made it mandatory, and they don't realize that causes so many diseases, bone problems,
it's not mandatory.
Burned out brains, livers. I mean, fluoride, they're overdosing all of it.
But not in Louisiana. Louisiana does not have a state mandate, and in fact, a lot of the local water municipalities do not fluoridate. It's up to the local government, so we don't. Lafayette doesn't.
Okay, the regulation that Bobby Jindal signed was 761, and it mandatory fluoridation of the entire state, and they still have that program going. And we're still blowing money to fluoridate our water.
See?
761. I don't think that ever got off the ground. I know that was discussed. Maybe they did pass a bill. I don't think that...
I hope so, because they made it in 2008. They made it stick. And that's millions of dollars of fluoride.
I know that they don't fluoridate Lafayette water.
I hope not, bro. That's the biggest...
Right? I do agree with you that I don't think fluoridation is the way you can get better dental health necessarily for the money. It's not cheap, and in all honesty, there truly is scientific argument about it being taken up into the blood-brain barrier and being...
This is according to the Advocate from about a year and a half ago. Jindal did sign the order. It required communities with 5,000 or more people to do it.
Yes,
Interestingly enough, Metairie would not be hit because they're not incorporated. But 7 years after the state mandated communities with more than 5,000 people to fluoridate their water systems, more than 60% of Louisiana residents still do not have fluoride in their drinking water. State legislature passed the Community Water Fluoridation Act in 2008, where the mandate is conditional on the state providing funds for engineering, procurement, and construction of the required facilities, as well as a fluoride chemical for the first 6 months of operation. And therein lies the rub. It ain't going to happen because the state doesn't have the money.
I hope not, because a lot of the villages were fluoridated in the 50s with a bunch of, and they're having to clean the pipes. A lot of cities do a good job. The thing I wrote for John Bell Edwards, if they wanted to meet their deficit, they're going to have to use a nickel tax, and I showed them the math and drew it out for them. A nickel tax on widespread would cover the debt in about 90 days.
Tax?
A nickel. You have to pay an extra nickel on sales.
Oh my God! But do you think that sales tax is regressive? Meaning that
no, but the thing is, they're taxing college students' tuitions. My son goes to the University of Lafayette, and he's pissed off. That's $1,000 out of his pocket. You know, they're taxing for revenue. They can tax the oil, gas, visiting, tourism, liquor, and cigarettes, of course, and a bunch of other things. For $320 million can be gobbled somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? Where might it be gobbled? It might be gobbled by imposing some more taxes on the petro state, all of the, especially now that Trump is going to allow more drilling. Well, tax these extractive industries that take oil and natural gas and stuff. You slap a tax on that.
That'd be good, because the moratorium on it, when they open that up, it's all going to flood that way. That's $50 trillion plus.
No, that's true. It will be opened up, but I mean, the world oil market is flooded. Gas is cheap. It might.
I agree. I think we need to go the route Texas went. Get rid of sales tax property, or have some kind of hybrid between the two. 60 Rayburn.
I'm not against sales tax at all, but I think that it does unfairly target the poor who spend all their money. At these. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll leave y'all with this because we're out of time.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. I'll leave you with this. 60 Rayburn, the former dean of the Senate, was in the Senate for almost 50 years, state Senate that is, said, we've been running a Cadillac on a Ford budget for too long. The people here are spoiled, and one day they're going to learn. And we're in the end. 20 years later, almost 20 years later, his words have become prophetic. Louisiana was a Cadillac that had been run on a Ford budget, and now.
But it is a Cadillac. It is a Cadillac.
Our Cadillac is sitting in the front yard and not doing anything while we're trying to find money to pay for the repairs.
Yeah. But the money is there. That's the thing. We have so much. We have a vibrant economy.
It's there, but nobody wants to risk losing re-election and asking people to pay more, pay their fair share. Which is funny we mentioned this because a special session starts tomorrow, so that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure for you. It's your job.
Yeah, it is my job.
I get to watch disinterestedly.
You know what? Maybe the state legislature should have called T. Fred and have him give him some money through the loan phone. pick up the phone, dial the number, and be amazed. Hey, T. Fred's a state senator. Maybe he'd have done it. We've got about 2 minutes left in the show.
T. Fred is pushing again for, as he's been doing for a long time, for medical marijuana.
Well, it got through last year.
Yes,
Now they're
I hear
actually,
LSU is like trying to find out how to source it.
They're going gung ho with it.
That's
So
cool,
to give the state credit, they're moving through with it. I think if anything, if Fred goes back with medical marijuana or medical hemp, medical cannabis, as we should call it, if anything, he's going to try to open it up for more diseases because the state legislature is hesitant to open it up, but I think he's still going to push for more diseases to get added to the bill.
Conservative argument. You can make the most conservative argument about it. For me, it's how would that not be red meat for conservatives? Personal freedom
And it's
and good for the economy, fiscally smart.
Let's not confuse so-called conservatism with libertarianism. All right, that's it. Time for us to get out of here. God willing, if the checks don't bounce, we'll see you back here next week. Thank you for those of you who called. Happy Valentine's Day, or for those of you celebrating, Happy Singles Awareness Day on Tuesday. And we'll see you back here next Sunday night here on 124 East Main.
Don't take life too seriously.
Oh, don't take life too seriously. You're not getting out alive anyway. Thank you. You know my
Thank
outro.
you, Ian.
You know my outro better than I do.
I'm a fan, man.
Stay tuned. More great programming on AOC coming up. What am I going to get for dinner tonight? That's the question.